Wow. I just started recording and got a text. Let's see what this is. Are you brave enough? Interesting. Hi, Delphi. Hello, free Richard Allen. Yes, we're brave enough, aren't we? Hey guys, my name is Carrie. I am a channeler and a healer. I'm also part of the Free Richard Allen movement. Free Ricky. We love you, Ricky. You're gonna get out eventually. You are not a catalyst. This is a message that has been coming in parts to me over the last year or so. I've actually been shown the rest of the messaging that has been given to me in spurts. And I have to give this to you. Also, it's to move forward in getting Richard Allen out. Okay. Those who see the Odinist theory as being far-flung and inconceivable probably will never be able to get their heads around what I'm about to say. So if you're operating on like a matrix level, you should probably click off at this point. There's a reason why so many in the Free Richard Allen movement come from various different esoteric backgrounds. And it's because of what actually happened to him, to them, and then to Richard. So first we're gonna, pray that Abby and Libby are resting in peace and, are triumphantly living within the next higher realm. And we know that they are. Their lives here on earth were ended far too early, to be sure. And all of this justice for Richard Allen is really justice for Abby and Libby. How we perceive the killings, how we perceive the girls being found in the woods with branches with sticks designed as runes, with the with Fehu on the tree, with the switch of the clothing, all of and the washed bodies. All of this was intentional, and what it was a sacrifice made in terms of fertility and or abundance, but the sacrifice weren't actually the girls. So what happened is that there were people, humans, who are more like copycat magicians, right? And whatever they were a part of and initiating into, or they were trying to use practices that they didn't quite understand the originations of, because they are only human and they only know what other people teach them, and or from esoteric books and things like that. These people don't have a lineage or a bloodline of tradition, of ability. And for that reason, what actually was happening is that there was another force, another entity that was actually attached to them and the group with which they were operating within. When we talk about spirituality and energy, we have to understand that it's what's not seen. It's what's hidden. And when you open up certain portals, what will happen if you're not protected and you don't have at least someone who has a lineage, like a birthright into that practice, most of the time you will be, or these people are affected and by another darker entity who will drive them. Now, the basic way you can think about this is kind of like addictions and things like that, but this is different. This is calling in certain, it's not the deities with names. this is higher, or actually lower. It's on a different level. So basically what was happening is that the murderers were also the sacrifices for higher level forces to ascend in their own paths. And I should say descend, but no, like whoever is actually behind this is never going to be seen. And a lot of the energies that you all feel are offshoots of the original intention of the murders. The chaos energy, the infighting, the betrayal of each other, what is it? The rumination, the hyperfixation on certain people, places, and things within the case, right? To distract you. It's a lot of black magic. It's a lot of chaos magic. And honestly, until Richard is free, it's going to continue, or until the collective can have like a collective mind shift into another timeline or another intention, right? And to focus energies all in a different way. Like that's the only way to change this energy. Because when you got into this case, it kind of grabbed you and dragged you in, right? And the deeper you got into it, it was harder to get out. Number one, because you were so disgusted with what you saw, the injustice and the darkness of it. And it tugged on something within you, right? That you had to like solve this. You had to make this fair. And it's playing on like some sort of trauma that you have, or your need to make things fair in some way, right? Being very angry at the injustice. And that is exploited by this negative entity. Now, what I also want you guys to understand, and I think many of you probably do, and don't say it, is that the same entity or force that is at work within Delphi is also at work in different arenas. It's all the same energy. And it's all working together, trying to keep you distracted and in chaos and going around in circles. You're never going to find the murderers. They were already taken care of karmically and with magic, because they would never be allowed to live after having done what they did, because they would put others in danger. Either live or be free. And that's where we are with Delphi. That's the truth. So all of you who think it's like an initiation rite or it's this or that, yeah, you're all right. But it's not what we see. There's an entity behind it. There's a force behind them. You'll never find who did it. You'll never get any, it's almost, unless there's a psychic investigator, it's almost impossible to ever any of that information. So instead, what I'm guided to tell you is that it's appropriate and right to attack the case, attack the trial, attack the inconsistencies, the violations of processes, everything that happened in the trial, all of the due process violations, the constitutional violations, all of that is the only way to attack it. And I mean full on with that. And the injustice of being, we put it, how Richard was put in solitary confinement and all of that. I mean, the gaslighting that's going on right now with what's his face in Comic-Con, crime, whatever the hell it's called, like the loser fests, where people pay money to like jerk each other off about true crime, right? Sorry. But that guy, Holman, so there was no solitary confinement, right? Because I'm not following right now. I can't. But he said that, right? It's narcissism. But the fact of the matter is that these are all tools by a greater force, a darker entity that is unseen, that you're never going to see. And the reason you're not going to see it is because it's part of how the world works. There's light and dark, and there's always a battle between it. There's always a battle between good and evil. And the way that things have been working up until now, because now is when things change. The way that things have been working up until tomorrow was their turn. That changes now. Which is why there have been people and places and places who have been really in a hurry to get things done, to get outcomes, to get intentions set prior to this time. But what they don't understand is that what's meant to be will always be. They can't change the course of destiny. The only people who could change the course of what is already written are the people who hold the keys. And people who don't hold keys, they can't do anything about it. Right? And many of you are very powerful people of prayer, of spirituality, of mysticism and guidance and esoteric knowledge. And that's why you were called in here, because you can see what's hidden. You just have to remind yourself that you can see it. And over the next, I can't give a time frame, but if you focus on redirecting the focus of what you're doing in terms of Richard Allen, as well as making that a balanced part of your life, this is going to move very quickly for Richard. And there's something hidden in plain sight, like a glaringly obvious one. I don't know what it is. But you guys have that gift, the different gifts to like allow information to pop off of a page while you're researching. A lot of you are very highly skilled in picking things. You can see things. You know how to research in ways that other people can't. And there's a reason why all of you were brought together. And so the answer that you're going to need is going to come from somewhere in there. As far as I serve here, it's what I just told you. You're never going to find the murderers. You're never going to figure out the truth. It's not going to happen. It's designed that way to keep you in chaos, to keep you in confusion. It's designed to keep you looking. It's designed to keep you attached to the dark energy. And that's why you need to shift it. Because they're just getting stronger off of your desire to figure out what actually happened. What actually happened is that those girls were put up as a sacrifice. But the people who were trying to sacrifice them were the sacrifices. They just didn't know it. It was their own ego and their own pride that drove them to do what they did. Their need for validation and status. I'm hearing the ones with intention were taken care of. And that's what happens when you play with these kinds of forces, both dark and light. So I was going to previously tell you guys like what I thought actually happened and which deities and all of this, but it really doesn't matter because none of that was actually real. Nobody received what they wanted. The actors didn't receive what they wanted. Whatever their intention was, because it was fake. They were copying rules that they were taught by other humans. Nobody had a key to the sacred knowledge that they needed to in order to actually do anything. And if they did hold those keys, they would have understood that you don't need to actually murder somebody. There's other ways that these darker forces operate in order to continuously have supply. Now, why did they do it? I'm not allowed to know, like, why those people were chosen. And anybody who's going to tell you that they do know, they don't. Because only people who, you don't want to have that knowledge, right? The people who are granted the actual knowledge of that are not your friends. So that's what happened as I have channeled and as I see it. But we can free Richard Allen by attacking the court case, the inconsistencies, and specifically the constitutional violations, and to get him out. And the way to switch the energy is to change the focus completely on that. To shift the energy away from the mystery of the actual murders. All right. God bless.